So for today's agenda, we're going to cover Yahoo and Bing network. We're going to go over what makes Bing different. We're going to discuss the efficiency to manage your Bing and AdWords account. And we're going to go over a special offer from WordStream and Bing. So to introduce the speakers for today's presentation, we have on the line Larry Kim and Stacey Helman. Larry is the founder and CTO of WordStream. He's been doing PPC and SEO for 10 years. 5 years ago, he started WordStream. And today, WordStream is the provider of the AdWords Performance Grader and the 20-minute PPC work week.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us, and welcome Stacey.
And Stacey is the Senior Bing Evangelist for Microsoft. She's responsible for raising awareness and generating excitement for the Bing platform. And she's also been a speaker at SES, SMX, and Search Insider Summit.
Hi everyone, happy to be here.
And with that, let me hand things over to Larry, and we'll go through a couple poll questions.
Awesome, thanks Chris. And usually we'd like to kick things off to learn a little bit about you. And so we have two questions for you today. The first question is, are you currently advertising with Bing ads? And there's only two options here, yes or not yet. So if you could just vote using the voting buttons and locking your votes there. And Chris, how are we doing for our response rate so far?
So it's 41% yes and 59% not yet are currently advertising with Bing ads.
Wow, that's excellent, excellent. Any comments, Stacey?
Looks like I have some work to do, but I'm happy to see that some of you guys are participating with Bing ads, and hopefully after we get through some of the content today, it'll help answer any questions that you might have.
Awesome. And our next question, and last question, is if you were one of the, I think it was 50 or some percent that weren't advertising with Bing, the main question is why not? And there's different options, like I don't have the time, tried it, didn't work, too complicated, or just haven't considered it yet. If you could log in your votes, please. And how are we doing, Chris?
But we had 16% say they don't have the time, 28% said they tried it and it didn't work for them, 28% said it was too complicated to manage AdWords and Bing, and 28% said never considered it.
Great, so let's just move along then and continue to our main presentation here.
Okay, great. Thanks, Larry and Chris. So today I'm just going to spend a little bit of time talking to you about Bing, so doing some real general education, talking a little bit about our audience. And then I'll get into some specifics around just how Bing is different, going into some of the things that we actually have launching for the Bing Ads platform. So we're going to try to cover a lot of different topics today. I hope it's not too overwhelming, but we're happy to take some questions at the end if they do come up. So in getting started, I thought it might be helpful just to talk a little bit about the Search Alliance and make sure everyone is aware of what the Yahoo Bing network is and why we even joined forces in the first place. So a few years ago, Yahoo and Microsoft kind of linked arms and decided that it would be easier to compete against a formidable competitor that you may be familiar with together rather than separately. So what happens now as part of the Search Alliance is that Microsoft provides the back-end technology, so the Bing Ads platform, that actually serves the search advertising. But we have distribution then across the Yahoo network of sites as well. So I'll talk a little bit in more specifics about where the ads will technically show, but the alliance at a very high level is just a joint partnership between Microsoft and Yahoo. And the reason why we decided to join forces was kind of going back to my original statement, just making sure that there is a powerful choice within search. So again, kind of linking arms and making sure that we can join our assets and try to fight the fight together rather than separately. We wanted to also give the industry some additional volume, but offer it at less effort. So there's one less platform for you to manage. And then we've also found that it's easier and faster for us to innovate if we do have the scale that Yahoo would bring us. So from a platform perspective, it was a smart choice for us. And then, of course, we want to make sure that we're providing a good search experience for consumers. So to that end, both Yahoo and Microsoft continue to innovate in the actual SERP separately. So you'll see a very different experience on Bing.com than you would at Yahoo.com when you do a search. And I'll talk about that a little bit too. And then finally, we want to make sure that advertisers are getting a really strong ROI. And we found that joining forces together to do that and eliminating an additional platform should help advertisers in that realm. So, as I mentioned before, now with the Search Alliance in place and through Bing Ads, you reach users not only on the Bing platform, but also on the Yahoo platform. And it's not just, the Bing SERP and the Yahoo SERP. We actually have a pretty extensive network. And just from the Microsoft side, we've formed a partnership with Facebook, so your ads could appear on Facebook web search results, which is a hot topic lately. And then also within some of our other partnerships include the Wall Street Journal, MarketWatch, some pretty heavy hitters when it comes to financial services. So when you think about the Yahoo Bing network, just make sure that you're understanding that it's much more than just the Bing page or the Yahoo page. And of course, this extends to mobile as well, and tablets for that matter. So when we talk about audience, because I do feel like when I typically handle objections around, oh, I just don't have time for Bing ads, it doesn't provide me enough volume, it's too much time, for the return that I'm getting. I do want to make sure that and point out that there are quite a bit of unique searchers on the Yahoo Bing network. So there's 159 million, and this is pretty recent data actually from March from ComScore that states that there's 159 unique searchers on the Yahoo Bing network, and there's also 51 million searchers who exclusively use the Yahoo Bing network. So these are 51 million people who are not using Google and who you can only find within YBN or through your Bing ads advertising opportunities. And just to set some context, I think that it's important to kind of just show you that 47 million is the population of Spain. So when you think about Bing ads and the reach that you would be getting through the platform, you're actually getting more than an entire country's worth of eyeballs on your advertisements. So just keep that in mind when you think about, not only are we 30% of the market, but it could be an entire country or even a few states if you're just thinking about the United States worth of eyeballs that could be on your ads. Now, in addition, we've also found that we have a pretty robust audience. I know I've heard anecdotally that advertisers have found really strong ROI within the Yahoo Bing network. And this data here, which is the buying power index, that again is done by ComScore, has kind of validated some of that. So we're excited to hear this, or to show you this. But initially what this chart is showing you is that the audience on the Yahoo Bing network spends about 20% more than the average internet searcher. So you can see here as well that when you compare that just to Google, we have an audience that spends almost 4% more. So it's pretty significant in terms of just thinking about who you're reaching and the fact that you guys have their credit cards or their checkbooks ready to get out there and actually spend money on the offers that are put in front of them. We've also found some real pockets of opportunity when it comes to just verticals in general. So one of the questions that we kind of get a lot is, are there areas or are there advertisers that do better on the Yahoo Bing network than Google? And in general, it's an impossible question to answer because everyone's ads are different and everyone has a different take on what success is or what their goals may look like. So this is kind of an interesting way of looking at it, and it might be helpful for you just to kind of take this in because this is representing our exclusive audience in really in some verticals. And again, this data is coming from ComScore. So as you can see here, 73% of the searchers on Bing and Yahoo search in the travel category are exclusive, which means you can only find about these U.S. travel searchers on the Yahoo Bing network. So that's about 12 million people who are focused on travel and only available through the Yahoo Bing network. The same can be said in all of these other categories. So 82% of telecom, 76% of autos, 70% of financial services. So in these specific verticals, we've found that we have a pretty strong exclusive audience that's really engaged and in interacting with ads on a regular basis. And in talking about audience, it also might be helpful just to read through some of these statistics, because when we've done our research and figuring out, again, where are there pockets of opportunity, we've found some areas where we significantly over-index. So just a few to call out here. Advertisers who are targeting car renters or even just travelers in general, our audience over-indexes in those who rent cars, and we found that our audience is 400% more likely to make a hotel reservation than our competition. We've also found that advertisers targeting someone in the market, not just in autos in general, so not just someone who's maybe looking for a car rental, but we have a pretty significant representation there. So auto buyers on our network spend about 47% more than the average searcher. So it's important to think about that in a very general way as well. So it could be that maybe you're not selling cars necessarily, but accessories to cars or autos in general is a really strong category for us. And then finally, when it comes to home buying, which again can indicate all kinds of behavior from a need for painting, house cleaning, handyman, all kinds of services that are associated with this. Our audience is 22% more likely to purchase a home in the next 6 months and 29% more likely to have applied for a home mortgage recently. So some really interesting things to kind of keep in mind when you have questions perhaps about who is on the Yahoo Bing network and how do we differentiate ourselves from the competition. So from here, I want to move into shift a little bit and talk a little bit more about the Bing consumer side, so you understand the experience behind Bing and how it again is different from our competition and others in the market. And in taking a step back and kind of looking at this from a really high level, it's just important to consider Microsoft's assets, right? So this slide really represents where Microsoft has their kind of hand in the cookie jar, right? So we've got representation across the tech spectrum, from things like more traditional things. When you think about Microsoft, I know my mind immediately goes to Windows or to Office, Outlook, that kind of thing. Of course, Xbox has been really successful for us. We've recently done some acquisitions in the social arena, so areas like Skype and Yammer. And then, of course, things like SkyDrive getting into the cloud. It's been a really significant shift for Microsoft recently, and I think you'll continue to see some really bold moves from the Microsoft community in the next couple of years. And if you haven't seen Windows 8, I think that's a really good example of where we're headed and how we're trying to innovate very quickly. Now, the important piece here is that all of these assets that we have represent pretty significant numbers in terms of reach. And the way that I encourage everyone to, again, think about it is that this is where Microsoft is headed, and all of these assets can be monetized through advertising. And it's something that we're being very thoughtful about in our approach, and it's something that you as an advertiser should just consider about, okay, so this goes way beyond just the Bing homepage and the results that I get on Bing. It's really about what's the next generation of search going to look like, and how do these audiences that are outlined here resonate with my business, or how would I construct an ad that might be shown in Office 365. So just kind of a little bit of corporate speak for you to make sure you understand kind of the breadth and the strategic importance of search and advertising in general for Microsoft. So when we kind of take it back down to more of the traditional way of looking at search and Bing as a destination and a search engine in general, I wanted just to take a minute to talk about the Bing It On Challenge. I'm curious to see or to hear if any of you guys have taken the challenge, but if you have, or if you've heard of it, or if you haven't and you've heard of it, I'd encourage you to go to bingiton.com and take it. It's basically kind of our Coke Pepsi challenge. So it gives you unbranded results based on a search term that you enter, and you can choose which terms or which representation or results you feel are more accurate. It's pretty interesting. You know, it's something that we've really promoted recently. We've done a lot of TV advertising about this, so you may have seen it. But it's interesting to look at. And in general, what we found is that people actually prefer Bing to Google 2-to-1. So if just, again, looking at it from the destination side of things, we've had a lot of success with just getting people change their thinking a little bit about, okay, the world is not just Google focused. There are other options here. So if nothing else, after the presentation today, I do encourage you to either go to bingandon.com or just go to bing.com and see how the search results kind of sit with you. And then in terms of the SERP itself, for those of you who aren't typical Bing searchers, I just wanted to kind of introduce you to the way that the search results are displayed, because it is very different from how our competition approaches search results in general. And it's something that we've been pretty aggressive with and made a lot of changes around, particularly, I guess this time last year is when we kind of came out with this new 3-column format. So you can see here with the search for something pretty general like pizza delivery, the ads show in the upper main line as you would suggest or expect. And then there's a map that shows more kind of local results, and then some additional results on the right rail. Now, what you might not be used to seeing is the column all the way to the right, which is the social results. So you can see here when I did the search, I was logged into Facebook, and it actually pulls data from Facebook and shows me any kind of posts or albums or anything that my friends have posted and made public that are related to the search terms that I put in there. So one of the advantages when you think about advertising with Bing specifically is not only going through your Bing Ads account, making sure everything is optimized and you know, working appropriately, but it's also taking advantage of social results, because these are pulled in, and it could be, you know, free advertising for you if the results are deemed relevant. So if you have, you know, a page that you would promote, or even on a personal page that, you know, if you're offering some kind of more personal service, if you have a list of friends, or if you're even seen as a social network kind of guru who, you know, maybe has a high clout score, maybe you tweet a lot, maybe you have a lot of check-ins, all of that data actually is pulled into these social results. So here you can only see my Facebook, but if I were to scroll down on a live demo, you could see results from all different kinds of social networks. So it's a great opportunity from the advertiser side to try to get in as much kind of information as possible. And from the consumer side, people really kind of get to see their search results on one side and then social on another, and it's a very kind of separate experience for social, and you can choose how you want to interact with it. Now, this is a departure from how Google has integrated social results, because Google only is working with their Google Plus account, and they integrate their social results right into the general search. So it's a little bit more difficult to ascertain, you know, how is social really influencing or impacting the ranking and results and that kind of thing. So on our social sidebar, which is that column to the right, like I said, we include data from all kinds of social networks. So most of them are listed here. And it's something that, you know, we could even expand as we continue to kind of build out this concept. The other point that I wanted to just kind of touch on briefly, because I did mention it towards the beginning of the presentation, is that, you know, when you think about where your Bing Ads results can show, we have a partnership with Facebook, and it's something that we've actually had for a very long time, where we've powered their web results. And frankly, you know, not a lot of people will go to Facebook and do a web search, right? They're typically going there for, you know, what Facebook is now calling graph search, which is more of a, you know, I want to find this person in this person's network based on specific criteria. So it's much more of a, you know, a specific person type approach. But when someone does do a web search, which is getting more and more kind of attention lately since Facebook has released graph search, Bing Ads is what's populating any kind of advertisement on that page. So you can see in the past, and I think these are a little blurry, but on the left-hand side, the old representation, search results were there. You could see the sponsored listings on the right. But with this new iteration of search, Facebook has really kind of cleaned up the results, made it look a lot nicer, and drawn some additional attention to the sponsored listings, which are now in their own separate box, and again, powered by Bing ads. So the next few slides, and as I kind of close out my portion of the presentation, just kind of cover some of the new features and products that Bing Ads has coming down the pike. And these are things, some of them have been released, some of them are still either in early beta or or kind of things that we're incubating on. But first and foremost is product ads, and I'm sure you're probably familiar with the product ad opportunity within Google, and this is frankly going to be very similar. So we're hoping that it will result in increased clicks and conversion rates for customers. It gives advertisers a real potential to expand your presence on the SERP. So not only would you have possibly your SEO listings, but you could have a search ad. You could also have a product ad. There will be a bidding capability, so it is all in an auction, just as you would expect. And then there will be targeting capabilities as well as reporting, and you can also categorize your results based on whatever makes sense for you and your feed. Product ads, and this screenshot here is just kind of an early mock-up, and we're working through a number of different iterations on how it could actually appear in the SERP today. So it will be different depending upon user interaction and advertiser rates and things like that. But we are in early beta now, so if you were to do some searches, I think it's only a very small fraction of the search results that are actually getting product ads today. But we're just kind of ramping that up now, and we hope by the end of the summer that this will be kind of ready for prime time and available to advertisers. So just something to keep in mind as we head through the summer. And certainly something that you should keep in mind for holiday if you are more retail-based. And then something that we've done more recently would be the experiences within ad extensions. So we do, and I don't think it's any secret, we do use Google as kind of our bellwether in a number of different ways. And if we've seen them have success with something, then we're pleased to be able to offer a similar offering to our advertisers if we get positive feedback from advertisers. And in the local extension area is an area where we've made a lot of investment lately and tried to be on par. So we've recently added local extensions, call extensions, merchant ratings, and site link extensions. So the site link extensions have been there for a little bit. You can, as you can see, kind of deep link as necessary. We also pull in merchant ratings from places like Price Grabber. So if you are selling something and you have a positive merchant rating, it gives you these little stars that show up, and people can search more quickly and get more information about you as a merchant. So we found a lot of success here, and we hope that you take advantage of them if they're relevant for your business. And then with the call extensions, just kind of getting a little bit more into detail here, we've worked the Skype integration into our call extensions recently. And again, this is something that it's not fully out in market yet. It's something that we're still kind of piloting. However, it's showing that we're taking the acquisition strategy that we have from Microsoft at a high level and really trying to integrate it into all of our assets. So the Skype integration gives you a great detailed reporting that we haven't had in the past, so you have a good understanding of where the calls are coming from, how they're associated to your ads, and then it gives you a nice little icon within the search ad itself that highlights Skype and just kind of draws your eye in that way. So hopefully you find that useful and interesting as well. So then I think this is one of my last slides just to kind of close out. And I don't know how relevant this would be for everyone, but just making sure that everyone knows that we have made a lot of strides in terms of global readiness, and this is a direct result of our relationship with Yahoo. So one of the things when we went into the Search Alliance was to make sure that we have a really strong global presence, not only in the markets that Microsoft has been there for a little while, but also in the markets where Yahoo has been. So if you think about where we've come from, so just in 2011, Bing ads, or Ads and as it was back then, was in 6 countries, and today in 2013, we're in 52 countries. So if you can appreciate the scale from even a technology standpoint, it's definitely been an area of focus for us and something that we're very proud of. So just know that if you are interested in getting traffic outside of the United States, there's ample opportunity for you within the Bing Ads network. So with that, I think I'm going to pass it back to Larry and let him take you through some additional slides.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Stacey. I think that was a really great overview of all the awesome things that are going on at Bing. I think I was pretty interested in that Facebook partnership that you have going on because there's so much interesting stuff that you could get out of social data, and you just don't have that on Google. So yeah, for my part of the presentation today, I just wanted to focus a little bit more on, from an advertiser perspective, how can advertisers tap into this big audience of potential buyers without necessarily doubling the amount of work required to manage your PPC campaigns. So that, I don't know, there must be an error here, but it's supposed to say increasing your reach without doubling your work. And so that'll be the focus of my talk here. And so basically, I think that many small and medium-sized businesses acknowledge kind of the opportunity and the value that that Bing has, especially all the things that Stacey was presenting there. But still, as we saw in the poll numbers earlier in the presentation, there's still a decent number of small and medium-sized businesses that just haven't yet fully acted on this opportunity to run their campaigns in both AdWords and Bing. And so I think one of the main challenges here is simply that maybe because it's an additional platform to manage, that requires some additional time and effort, which is sometimes in short supply. That sadly marketers they might decide to either ignore the opportunity or just not act on it, even though it's a pretty good opportunity. And so I can definitely understand this behavior because definitely managing even one paid search account is hard, and so naturally you would be inclined to think that managing 2 would be harder. And so and of course I know this because I've talked to all sorts of different customers who are managing multiple paid search accounts, and I remember once chatting with a husband and wife team who would set up an hour to do paid search campaign management across Bing and AdWords, and their strategy was they would sit at opposite ends of a desk, and they would kind of yell out the changes that they were doing in the account. So the husband would say something like, "Honey, I just deleted this keyword," and then the wife would respond, "Okay, I deleted it here on my side too." So definitely I've heard of some interesting, very challenging stories of how this could be hard. But what if I told you that it's possible to manage your Bing ads accounts without doubling the work here, and that it's you could do all the work at the same time simultaneously as managing your AdWords account? Would that make a difference in sort of your decision-making process? And would that potentially help encourage you to try out Bing ads? And so basically I am saying that's possible, and so just hear me out here. So most of you are familiar with WordStream because this is a WordStream webinar, and so we provide a PPC management platform called PPC Advisor, and so it has various features, and one of the features is this integration with the Bing ads platform. And this is definitely one of our key features, in that WordStream is a single platform for optimizing and managing both Bing and AdWords accounts. And so the idea here is instead of having to log into different platforms, you can just simultaneously manage campaign changes and things in a single interface. A second area that's really helpful has to do with cross-platform analytics. And so what this means is that when you're analyzing campaign performance of your clicks and your impressions and your spend and conversions, et cetera, we'll pull in the data from both Bing and AdWords so that you get a sense for how your paid search campaigns are performing across different search engine platforms. And last but not least, we have this thing called the 20-minute PPC work week. And that's a little bit like having a kind of like a personal trainer or a personal PPC manager doing lots and lots of work on your accounts every week and giving you like advice and recommendations on what to do. And we'll talk about that in just a second here. But basically that's our platform, and talking a little bit about the 20-minute PPC work week and how this is integrated with Bing. And so in a nutshell, WordStream created a 20-minute PPC work week because we found that across the board, most paid search accounts were just dying of neglect, and advertisers in a typical work week, the majority of the advertisers did nothing in their accounts. No bid optimizations, no new keywords, no new ads, nothing. And so, the reason for this is simply because, PPC can be sometimes a little time-consuming and challenging, and so as a result, people might not be fully optimizing their campaigns, which results in reduced return on investment, which sometimes makes people conclude that paid search isn't working for them. And so really the reason, though, why the failure is because there was a lack of kind of optimization in the accounts happening. And so so the 20-minute PPC work week was just designed to be the cure for this kind of challenge. And what it does is it does a ton of analysis in your PPC account every week, and it comes up with a dozen recommendations for you to act on and just review and approve. And so let me talk a little bit about that. You can see on the chart here different types of actions like checking your bids and budgets and maybe pausing junk keywords and trying out new keywords or swapping out a lousy ad with a possibly new ad, etc. And so those are different types of activities. Here's what it looks like in a little bit more detail. So, having analyzed billions of dollars of ad spend, we came up with some data that showed that, there's a bunch. If you could just focus on a few impactful areas, this could really help improve your return on investment in paid search, such as keyword expansion, negative keyword expansion, ad text optimization, etc. And so, so it's when you're optimizing a Bing or an AdWords account, if you're not a full-time marketer, doing all this work could be a little bit challenging. But in WordStream, as you can see here in this 20-minute PPC work week, it's just a simple task list of a dozen things to focus on. And all you need to do is then just click on this green Act button, see where it says Act, and basically it'll pop up the recommendation. You can just review and approve the changes. So where this comes into play in terms of Bing is that our 20-minute PPC work week is integrated with Bing. So let me give you an example of how this would work. One of the tasks in the task list was to do some negative keyword research. And so, for example, it might recommend this week that you do some negative keyword research in a particular ad group, and we'll do some analysis for kind of underperforming spend and recommend some negative keywords, as you can see in this kind of dialog box. But at the very bottom, when you're done kind of choosing the negative keywords, like maybe this one here, it says guitar classes for kids in Polk County, Florida. Maybe kids could be a negative keyword if you didn't sell those to that demographic or whatever. There's this little checkbox in the bottom corner of the interface that says also add the negatives to Bing. And if you click apply, then the software will just scan your Bing account and try to figure out where to place these, and ask you to just confirm that you want to also add those negative keywords to the kind of corresponding ad group in your Bing account. And so you see how that's like really, really quick and easy instead of having to like, yell at your wife across the table or having to log into a different account. It just goes pretty seamlessly in your workflow. I'm not going to go through every example But as you can see, the tools, it's just, you can just, this is the keyword expansion tool where we'll find certain keywords that are relevant to your business. You can just check them, accept them, and then click the box to add the keywords to your Bing, and then you're done. So no additional effort at all, almost. So in addition to supporting this kind of optimization of Bing, like the ongoing optimization of Bing ads via this 20-minute PPC work week from WordStream that I was talking about earlier, we also support the full kind of the full campaign management of Bing ads within the WordStream user interface. From the Campaign Explorer window on the left-hand side, where there's like a red circles there, you can see that it's possible to just within the Campaign Explorer to expand and drill down on different campaigns and ad groups for both AdWords and Bing from within our Manage Paid Search tab in the product. And so that means you can do all sorts of granular account management functions like creating, editing, deleting Bing campaigns, ad groups, keywords, ads, etc., all within the WordStream interface. One additional interesting feature that I'd like to call your attention to is search query management functionality. So what this means is that it's often nice to see sort of the search queries that were entered by the users, which in turn triggered the ads that the users clicked on. And so these are the exact search queries that were being entered into Bing that people were searching for. And you can analyze those on a campaign and ad group level or across your entire Bing account, and then you can just kind of review the statistics. And if you feel like severe osteoporosis treatment, if this is something that you are that's relevant to your business, you could either add it to your ad groups, or you could quickly and easily set that as a negative keyword if it wasn't relevant to your business. So very good, tight integration with Bing search query report data, and also similarly, if we also do search query management for AdWords, and so if you happen to be adding, like reviewing something, and you find something in your AdWords account and you feel like you'd also like to make a change in Bing, it's always the same thing. You just check the box, also add to Bing, and we'll make that happen. So overall, there's another huge feature here is the dashboarding and reporting and analytics, kind of consolidated analytics. So this is a really helpful feature again, so you don't have to kind of toggle between different interfaces for the report data. You can compare over a specified time range across different platforms. So in this example, the advertiser is actually spending, over the last 30 days, spending $4,500 on Bing and only $1,500 on AdWords. And as you can see, we're showing all the data on one chart in the different colors. And the blue line at the top is sort of the combined of Bing and Google. So, yeah, just more campaign simplification there. And as you can see, you toggle these things on and off easily for whatever analysis that is required. So ultimately, I think there's a lot of reasons to, that I would strongly encourage you all to be trying out Bing ads today. Ultimately, the number one reason is that it's going to help you access more potential customers and therefore drive far more leads and sales that you would otherwise have done without it. And so hopefully, as I have shown you in the demo today, that it's fairly easy to manage the Bing platform ads without requiring additional effort, and that this could also have the added benefit of diversifying your lead sources. Of course, you never want to be overly dependent on one lead source, because if something goes wrong, then you're in big trouble. And additionally, it's always great to just be extending the reach of your campaigns. And so that's all I had for. And there's one additional huge announcement here that we've partnered with Microsoft here. and is that you can do this. You could run your tests on Bing. You could finance it by using this Bing special offer. Now, a little bit of details on our special offer here today. And basically, it's if you connect your Bing account to a WordStream trial, and if you become a WordStream customer, then we'll give you $150 in free ad spend to pay for your ads on Bing for the first $150. This offer ends at the end of the month, and there's only 75 of these available. So, like we were only able to get 75 credits like this, and so you'll need to act fast. And just a couple other little details. You need to connect with a valid Bing account during the trial period. The $150 credit will be applied to your first WordStream invoice, and you must have a total monthly PPC spend above $2,500. So that's the fine print. But overall, hopefully, this is a great offer and incentive to try Bing ads and for your business today. So at this point, I'm going to just hey, Chris, are you there?
Yep, I'm here. Thanks, Larry, and thank you, Stacey, for going through the presentation. I put in the URL to the chat box, so if anyone missed that, the offer URL there, I put it in there. There's a form on the page. You can just fill out that form, and someone will be in touch with you to discuss the offer. So we can just hop into a quick Q&A session here. We've got a lot of questions coming through, so thank you, everyone that has participated and sent your questions through. We'll try to answer as many as we can here. The first question we had, and I know you just kind of touched on this a little bit, Larry, was what is the benefit of using WordStream software instead of using just Bing?
Well, if you were going to just use Bing and not advertise on AdWords, then the main benefit of the WordStream software would be that we have this 20-minute PPC work week. So, like recommendation-oriented, optimization tips that are coming through a detailed analysis of your account every week, as I was showing you earlier. Like, suggesting keywords to add, suggesting which ads to optimize, etc. And so that's would be a benefit of using WordStream for Bing management.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the whole time-saving thing, and if you do have an AdWords account too, and you're running your Bing account, it's just a one-stop shop for everything. So you have all your accounts there, you can manage everything, and you can utilize all the time-saving tools too. So the next question we have here is, I tried Bing ads in the past and didn't get a click. Why should I try it again?
Sure. So I'll take that one. I guess not in a great way, but this has not been an uncommon question that we've gotten before. And I think it's important for everyone to know that in the past 3 months or so, we've made a lot of changes to the algorithms that figure out, how to match keywords to ads and ensure, that keywords are getting the right ads and getting the right opportunity in the auction. So we've recently launched an initiative that we're calling kind of internally Zero to Click. And what it is a number of different things that we're working on kind of behind the scenes that ensures that advertisers receive a click within 24 hours of launching a campaign. Now, it's not something that we're guaranteeing necessarily, but that's kind of our goal, is to make sure that people who are launching new campaigns and keywords that don't have a lot of history or campaigns that don't have a lot of history are given the right opportunity in the auction and kind of encouraged to get clicks earlier on. So hopefully that will not be an issue moving forward. As I said, it is a really new kind of effort on our end and something that we've been working on for quite a while because we've recognized that it's been an issue for particularly some of our smaller advertisers in the past. So if you've tried it before and you didn't get clicks, I would encourage you to try it again.
Awesome. Thank you. And another question we have here, we're actually getting a lot of questions about is Bing B2B focused. There's a company here that they're a B2B advertising agency, and they're curious to start advertising on Bing, but they're unsure if it's more targeted towards B2C than B2B. Is there any information that you might have on that, Stacey?
I don't have any specific stats that would indicate that we're kind of more slated one way or the other. It's something like I could look up and see if we have anything on and get back to you offline. But in general, I would say that we're not really kind of focused one way or the other. Certainly our consumer campaigns are aimed at gathering as many eyeballs as possible, and it is more somewhat consumer focused. But when you look at, again, like our network and think about who uses Microsoft products, it is more of the business audience. So my gut would tell me that we have a pretty even split, and it's not terribly focused one direction or the other. But I can look and see if we have any data that might support my gut one way or the other.
Great, thanks. So we have another question here for Larry. The question is, I don't have the time to manage both Bing and AdWords accounts. Does WordStream offer any sort of account management service?
Sure. If you're not interested in using software to manage these accounts yourselves, then we have a full service kind of managed service option. This is for kind of certain qualifying accounts where we'll do a review of the account and try to determine if there's a good fit in terms of like, can we meet the goals that you have, and there's a bit of a process where we consultative process of looking over what your goals are and what you're hoping to achieve. And if there's a match, then we'll take you on as a client, and we'll just manage the whole all of your Bing, all of your AdWords accounts for you. And you don't have to deal with all the management issues.
Great. So the next question here it's more of a campaign strategy question, and the question is, does it make sense for me to create the same ad groups in Bing that I have in AdWords?
I think that I don't know if Stacey says otherwise. I think this is a decent strategy for keeping it easy to manage, like to have kind of a similar campaign structures and similar ads across the different engines. I'm not sure, Stacey, is there any reason to believe that that you'd have to message your ads differently, like for the same keyword searches across different engines?
Not necessarily. I think it's up to the individual advertiser. We definitely encourage people kind of copying their campaigns from AdWords to Bing ads, just because it's a great way to get started. It's obviously very easy, and then you can monitor performance and tweak as necessary. So in terms of taking that shortcut and just making that copy and paste, I think it's a really great idea and a good way to start.
Great.
Awesome. The next question we have here is, I recently heard that Yahoo will be breaking away from Bing ads in the future. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes, we have.
Sensitive subject?
Stacey is running the partnership here.
Yeah. Let me confer with Balmer real quick, and I'll let you know. No, I mean, obviously in the press there's been a lot of kind of bad blood between the companies, and I think honestly, like, a lot of that is, you would just expect that there's going to be trials and tribulations between two large corporations who actually compete with each other but are also partners in this sense. But in terms of what the deal will look like in 5-10 years, it's impossible to say, and it's way above my pay grade in terms of when that decision is being made or anything like that. But I can tell you that I think things have been a lot better than the press and the common public would like to believe on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, there's certainly trials and tribulations, but ultimately we've made a ton of progress over the partnership that we've had so far, and have been doing really well on the metrics that we evaluate on a regular basis. But everybody likes a story and some drama, so I'm sure that those rumors will continue. But I can't really comment one way or the other because I just don't know.
So I don't have any special access to Balmer or anyone, but I kind of moonlight as a as a search pundit, and my and my sense was that it was mostly just grandstanding a little bit, just like in the press wanting you know, a sensational story or something like that. So I agree.
Great, thanks guys. So the next question we have here is, are there any resources to help me learn more about Bing ads? So if it's someone that's you know, using AdWords and they want to get into Bing, they want to learn more, is there, you know, somewhere they could go to you know, start getting some resources to learn?
Yep, we have a lot of resources online, so in a pretty active community just in blogging, but also in kind of forums and stuff like that. So if you go to advertise.bingads.microsoft.com, which just kind of rolls right off the tongue, you're kind of given access to all of those, to a portal of all kinds of information. So there's, you know, the community site, there's training and accreditation opportunities, case studies, so on and so forth.
I also found that following Bing ads on Twitter is helpful. Like
yeah.
Lots of stuff, and they'll even like message you back. It's pretty fun. Like if you send them stuff.
Good stuff.
Great. Great. Thanks, guys. So I think we have time for one last question. I just want to let the audience know again that if you want to take us up on that free offer, I put the URL in the chat box there. You can visit. It's www.wordstream.com/bing-offer. And we do have a limited amount of spots. I think we only have 75 people that can actually we can actually give the offer to. So hurry up and get in there and fill out that form. So the last question we have here is, can you tell us a little bit more about the Search Alliance Network? I know you touched on that a little bit in your first few slides.
Yeah, so the network itself is, and it's something that I'm trying to think of like where you could actually go to look at the actual network of sites, and I'm not sure if there's a single resource, but so both Yahoo and Microsoft have their own kind of partnerships and alliances that they've formed that their search results will appear on additional sites. So in addition to just the Bing and Yahoo site itself, it's the Wall Street Journal network like I talked about, Facebook web search like I discussed, and then it goes into Yahoo's network as well, which I'm not as familiar with. But that's about all I know at this point. If there's more specific question, like if you're looking for a specific partner or something like that, I'm happy to try to track that information down.
Great. Well,
I think Facebook
Larry,
kind of the big one there, right? Like in terms of the partner volume.
Wait, who is the biggest one?
Wouldn't Facebook be like more than half of the volume there, given that it does like 1 trillion page views a day?
That's true. It's just we're still finding that, you know, people need to kind of think of Facebook as, they're not thinking of it as a search engine. So it's only when they would do a web search, so it might not be as much traffic as you would expect just based on, you know, how many users they have and page views and stuff like that. But I don't, in terms of like overall breakout, it's hard to say.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Larry, and thank you, Stacey, for joining us today and sharing your insights. And thank you, everyone who attended, and thank you for anyone going and filling out that offer. I just want to let everyone know that you can get a free trial of WordStream software at www.wordstream.com/ppc-free-trial. And also, feel free to visit the website, wordstream.com, and give us a call if you have any questions, of course. I'm going to be sending out a follow-up email tomorrow morning that will have a link to the slides and a video recording. So if you guys want to, check out the materials on demand, you can do that. And I just want to say thanks again for everyone attending. And thanks, Larry and Stacey.
Thanks, Stacey.
Thanks.
Have a great day, everybody.